Welcome, 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 welcome. Welcome back to our show, Sweet Home Nigeria. And help me to welcome my friend and my co-host in the name of
Glory Ezema.
And I am Mrs. Augustina Anyamu.
Welcome again to our Sweet Home Nigeria.
Yes.
And we thank you, our viewers. So once again, we're here. And we're going to address the crisis that is happening in Nigeria currently. That's the cow and cattle crisis.
And the farmers.
And the farmers, exactly. I know this is a very touchy episode because though we're in diaspora, but we've had so many killings and everything that is going on in Nigeria in terms of the farmers versus the cattle rearers. So that's why my friend and I were here today to give a little insight on things that we know about what is going on with the crisis, and then a little insight also on some of the solutions that might be able to help so that the cattle rearers can live in peace, and then the farmers can also live in peace.
They're living in peace with each other.
Exactly.
That's what we want. Because we need both of them.
That's true. That's
okay.
true. That's true.
All right.
So so far, I mean, many of us have watched in the news, like I said, about the killing. And recently, I grew up in Nigeria. I remember when I was small, or when I was young, growing up in Nigeria, I didn't hear about this crisis. So we had meat, like the cows and the cattle. We know that it's from the northern part of Nigeria. And then we have the crops, the farmers from the southern and the eastern and part of the northern areas too. They're farmers too. But I don't know what happened recently, my friend, that it has become such a disaster in our country. Because you hear about so many natural disasters in other places. You hear about a hurricane in the western world where we are. We hear about earthquakes. We hear about cyclone even on some parts of Africa like Mozambique and Malawi, other places. But the crisis that we have in our own country, Nigeria, is usually human crisis. And now we have animal crisis. So that's why we're here today. So my dear friend, what are we going to do? What are we going to suggest in terms of what is going on in our country, how the farmers and the cattle rearers can live in peace so that we can have peace in Nigeria?
My dear, as you stated, you was brought up in Nigeria. Before you come here, myself, yes, I was brought up in Nigeria too. So that's why when we talk, we base whatever we say on prior experiences. As she mentioned earlier about crisis other countries have, and we look at Nigeria, when I say Nigeria is blessed, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. All of us that are outside Nigeria, we know, some of us here, we heard about the wildfire, we heard about so many things, even the common snow. So Nigeria being so blessed, and most of the time we don't know what we have until we lose it. It's a little bit
it's heartbreaking.
And it's so disturbing in the sense that we need these parties. We need those that rear or raise up cows and whatever, the animals, so that we need the meat. We depend on them for the meat. Then we need those that do, farmers, other crops, carbohydrates, vegetables. We need them. So if both of them can work together, the country will be moving forward. But to me, I think whatever is happening now is so much of a news to majority of people, killing people with machete, just because I told you, raise your animals, while I plant my crops and vegetables, because somewhere, somehow, we're going to meet in the market. Exactly. You buy mine, I buy yours.
That's
something like trade by barter.
Exactly.
You buy mine because those that have a cassava, yam, and other fruits and vegetables will one time need meat, and vice versa. So I think it will be so good for them to work it out. The animal rearers, the cattle rearers, the cow rearers should not, to me, this is my own opinion, should not release their cows or any other animal they're rearing to go and eat the vegetables other farmers planted, because they planted for a reason. Some of them plant just to feed their immediate families. Some of them planted for, you know, to sell in the market so they can get other things they want. While the cattle rearers or the cow rearers, I know they need food for their cows. But they shouldn't make it a priority for them to go to other people's farm to eat their vegetables. So now that's where our agriculturists have to come in, the experts. That's when the government have to intervene, because the government know how to say, okay, now if you're from the north or from the south or from the west or from anywhere you come from, if you're rearing cows, please do not go to the farm. They can levy, they have to be fine.
Actually, I have something to add to what
you have to be fine, or any other thing, so that we know that what they're doing is not good. Talk about killing people with machete. Come on, this is so barbaric. What do you have to add?
You know, actually, there's something that you brought up that is very important, because you said, I mean, it doesn't matter
where you come from, so long as you're raising this.
And when I look at it, because I mean, I hear in the news, they're like, oh, they killed people here, they killed people. It doesn't matter. Death is death, and human beings, we have to respect human lives in Nigeria. It doesn't matter where you come from. Killing is killing. So what we could do, these are just suggestions that we're bringing up. I mean, in terms of the cattle rearing, what they can do is to have a ranch, like a big ranch, where they will take their cattle, and depending on their location, because like I said, growing up, I know that most of the time they raise the cattle in the northern part of Nigeria. So what they could do there is to have a big ranch for the cattle rearers. And then I know the cattle eat grass. And then that's where the agriculturists will come in. Then they have to suggest on how to grow grass annually. Because I know grass grow very fast.
Irrigation, everything that can help to water the area so they have enough grass to eat.
Yes, because I heard that one of the reasons that they move around is because they're looking for like pasture land. So what they could do is you give them very like large areas in the northern part of Nigeria, since that's what
any other place that is comfortable for them. But my own thing, you don't kill people so that your cow can live. You do not release your cow to go eat out of other people's vegetation. To me, I think that's like you're just picking on somebody unnecessarily. So the government, the agriculturists, the intellectuals, people need to get together and talk about this, because people are dying. That's the worst thing. And people are dying.
You know what I realized, because when you watch, you could see that when they, I mean, the cattle rearers, they move around, because sometimes you see like places that were like pasture land, all of a sudden the cows will eat
finish it,
and then there's no other place and they keep on moving. But what they could do is to plant grass, like I said, and keep on replanting and replanting and replanting, so that when they move, after a while, they go back to the old area.
And agriculturists,
because the last time we
know what to do.
And
then if they don't pay tax on those things, because money got to come from somewhere, where, you know, you're talking about the pasture land, you're talking about you know, maybe the irrigation, we're talking about planting new grasses. If they don't pay tax on those things or levy, there'll be no money. And then I heard that they have a union or whatever group or something. So they have to go now, immediately have a meeting to stop all this bloodshed. Because we're talking about Boko Haram, you're talking about this, and it won't be tied anybody that is not a cattle rearer. That will go or disguise themselves as to do evil, so that other people will be taking their blame. You understand? So because you cannot rule anything out when things like that are happening.
That's true. All right, I'm glad that you pointed that out, because that's something that is very important that I understood. Most of the cattle rearers are not the owners of the cattle and the cows.
I believe
it's more like a shareholder. I mean, you have shareholders in Nigeria that own the cows, and then they hire people to raise those cows and then sell it.
Yes.
So in that case, you could see, I know we're talking about it more like it's a problem between the farmers and the cattle rearers. So now we're going back, it's a war between the rich and the poor again. And that's what our show is all about, trying to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. Because when you look at it, the cattle rearers are raising the cattle. and the cows. But most of the cattle and cows belong to the rich people.
Okay.
So what they do is like, it's almost like an investment. So they invest in those cows. And then they, at the same time, they're the ones that are buying it. But the farmers that these cows are invading their farm are the poor people that are doing their best to feed their families.
Yes.
So when you look at it, if the rich people that own these cows and cattle can step out, be able to use the money and get a big ranch, like we said, it's all right if you want to do livestock.
Okay.
No problem. But do it in such a way that you do not suppress the poor people that are struggling. They are planting their vegetables, they are planting their cassava, they are planting their yams and everything. And you're going in there to, you know, allow the cows to invade the farm. So what the rich people could do, the owners of these cows, go to, you have the money to be able to have like a big ranch. So stop, because actually when you're looking at it, everybody's blaming the cattle rearers doing the killing. But if you are a shareholder in that business, and these people are going in to kill people in villages so that they can just feed their cows from those farms, you are part of the killing. Though you don't have the gun and you're not going in there, but if you're sponsoring what is going on, you are the killers too.
You're right about that.
So these are things that we have to look into, because the rich men shouldn't hide behind, because they are fostering this bad behavior. So come out. If you're invested in cows, be honest to yourself. You are part of the killing, like I said. So for you to stop it, go meet the government. I know a lot of you are in the government positions.
That's another thing.
What you could do, discuss with the house, get a bigger ranch where you can plant grass annually, not even annually, very often, like we said.
As needed.
As
It depends on how many cattle
so
and
that
cows
you can feed your cows,
know,
and then the farmers can live in peace and have their own crops. Like my friend said, we need both. We need
each other.
We need the crops. We also need the livestock. So it's
and
very
we need
hard
human beings to live.
Exactly.
You don't have to intimidate them. You don't have to do any killing.
That's
too much.
Exactly.
It's overbearing.
Yes.
Killing somebody for what? Please don't let your animal eat my crops. That shouldn't be a problem.
No.
You know, like you said, I believe so. The rich people, most of them are in the government. I think that's why.
And they're the owners of the cows.
Yes.
Yeah. They are.
Okay, now other people, the government got together, the masses got to say something, but all said and done, please, we are just pleading.
Exactly.
If you are involved in this in one way or the other, please talk to those that are rearing your cattle, those that are raising them up. Make provision for what they will eat. You're responsible for what your cow or cattle or even goat, anything have to eat, because you own them. And the proceeds will go to you whenever either it's being sold or they have new babies. All of them belong to you. So it is your responsibility to make sure you have something for them to eat. Leave the poor farmers alone. Leave those that are working to feed their families or train them in school. Please leave them alone. Don't kill them for what belongs to them, because it is not good. That's not what Nigeria is supposed to be.
Yes.
Please,
and we have
government
to
intervene. Agriculturists, wherever all of you are, try to help so that we can see that this commotion stop.
That's true. And actually, bringing it back to the Western world, they have animals that they raise and they have crops. So you don't hear about these things, in the Western world.
Everybody's on their own land.
Exactly. So
everybody have a place. Before you own animal anyway, you're supposed to make provision for what they will eat.
That's true. So the cattle rearers, like I said, can also be farmers, and what they could do is to plant grass, do whatever they can, any crop that they feel that their animals
love to eat. Plant
it, and then
they can afford it.
That's true.
They can afford it.
That's our episode today, because we talk about the killing and the killing. So, like I said, do not make money. I call it blood money. Exactly.
Life.
Exactly. So your focus is just when they sell those cows or sell those cattle, the money that you put in your pocket, and people are dying everywhere. So brainstorm and see what you have to do. Agriculturists, politicians, people in government, and the shareholders of those cows. Please.
And the young men that are rearing this cow or raising them up, looking after the cow, do not go and do a daily job for your master, because at the end, everybody will answer for themselves. Please.
That's true.
Do not go and kill anybody. And if anybody is in disguise, government have to fish those people out so that we know exactly what is happening to our country. Please, respect human lives.
That's true, that's true.
We cannot destroy what we can make.
No. And what came to my mind is just like, do we value cow's life more than we value human life?
I don't think so.
Because it has something to do with the money, like we said.
The fact of the matter, remember, this thing is owned by the rich people, and these young kids are taking care of them. So we don't know how much they've been intimidated or how many of them have been dead because they lost a cow. We don't know why they're doing what they're doing. That's why I was saying, if all these quote unquote, we have Boko Haram, they said we have all kinds of ISIS, whatever. If any of them are in disguise, because I don't think a Nigerian person can just kill another Nigerian just because the cow, or release their animals to go and eat on somebody else's farm. That's unheard of. That's unheard of, because we need both the crops, like we said, and we need the animals. And the both of them should, work together to make sure you feed the common masses, because all of us depend on you. You work in government, you are a trader, whatever you are, at the end of the day you will eat. So we need both of them.
That's true.
So the government need to, what people say, shine your eyes. We need to shine our eye well to know, so we can know apple and oranges, so that we can know those that are truly the cattle
rearers, and those ones that are hiding. Exactly. The criminals that are in disguise. Exactly.
That's right. Goats in sheep clothing. We got to make sure that they are true Nigerians, because I don't believe a Nigerian can just use a machete and chop somebody else's head over their own farmland. Please, government, don't sit and fold your hands.
We can do better. And we are civilized a little bit. I know, we still have some remote areas in Nigeria, but like we said before in our previous episodes, we're very educated, so we shouldn't be so barbaric anymore. All right, I know we've talked a lot about this. I told you this is such a touchy episode, and it's such a major crisis at home right now, so we just touched a little bit of it. But the government, please look into it, and at the same time, just like my friend said, so that if you focus on what is going on with this crisis, do your thorough investigation, then you can find out who are the real cattle rearers and who are criminals that are in disguise, so that you can bring the criminals to,
bring them to judgment.
Just exactly. So that's exactly what we wanted to address today. And I know, if please, we're pleading with our politicians, do not ignore the killing. These are human beings. I know some of you are very rich, that your children are outside.
Those in power, those that can make things happen, those that can change the situation. Do not sit down and listen. Just do something. Let this stop.
Exactly. And I think if you really, really want to stop it, you can.
Oh yes.
Just because these are villagers that are dying in the village and they don't have anybody to speak for them, does not mean that we have to ignore them.
No.
Every human life matters.
Yes.
So please. So this is our topic today. We've talked a lot about this. It's a very long episode, because that's exactly how we're feeling about the crisis. We can't just keep quiet and pretend like nothing is happening. So please, look into it. And like I said, if you really focus on rooting out the criminals among them, you will. So that the real cattle rearers will also live in peace, because they will be happy. Some of them are not really doing something wrong, but because you have criminals that are hiding under cattle rearers, they are damaging the image of the real cattle rearers. And then, give the farmers peace and give the cattle rearers peace. So that's what we wanted to address today.
That's right. That's right. And as a cattle rearer, please stay away from people's vegetation. Stay away from their farmland, so that they can be able to harvest the crop that they planted. As you do this, God bless you. And then you look out for our next episode. All right?
So thank you so much for watching us today. And then we'll catch you again next week, as usual.
Thank you. As we said, Thank you for watching us. Continue subscribing. Send our episode to your friend. Send it out as much as you can. We want it to reach the people. God bless you and you remain blessed.